Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Team Comp Tuesday. This week we have a slightly weirder team comp for you, one that I promised last week, which is a Childe dendro team. Originally I was going to do a Hyperbloom team, but then I realized that's literally like basically the same team from the Hyperbloom team, and we haven't done a Burgeon team yet, so I figured we do Burgeon. Despite the fact that I do actually believe Hyperbloom is a significantly better reaction, Burgeon is honestly kind of weak, but whatever, this is for fun. Let's get into it. Alright, we're going to do a quick little demonstration of what Burgeon is. It's very similar to Hyperbloom. So when you apply Dendro to a unit and then apply a Hydro, you get a Bloom Core. And then when you hit the Bloom Core with Pyro, it causes a bit of AoE Dendro damage, and that's the Bloom reaction. Very similar to Hyperbloom, how if you hit the core with Electro, it causes a different reaction. The main difference between the two is just that Burgeon is AoE damage, where Electro is more single target damage, but Burgeon is also significantly harder to trigger and a lot harder to trigger as quickly as you can trigger Hyperbloom. Alright, it's time for the builds section. We're going to be going over the first two characters pretty quick, as they're characters we have gone over quite a bit before, especially in the past couple weeks. But first up, Childe. Weapon. Any crit stat stick is good. Skyward Harp. If you don't have access to it, the Inazuma craftable bow is the way to go. High Refinement Rust is okay, but the Inazuma craftable bow will generally end up being better. Overall, the normal attack bonus for Childe is actually overrated due to how much of his damage is from Riptide. Possibly even in this team, something weird like Elegy could be quite good as well. Artifacts, so your options are 4-piece Hydro set if you have good substats on it. If you do not have very good substats on a set, any 2-piece attack plus 2-piece Hydro is good. Attack on Sands, Hydro damage on Goblet, crit rate or crit damage on Circlet. Talents, only things you need to worry about are skill and burst. Alright, next up is everybody's favorite little radish, Nahida. Weapons, any crit stat stick works fine. Any elemental mastery based weapon works fine as well. Favonius is also an option, although it will cut into her personal damage quite dramatically, but it will help Toma out in keeping his burst up, which is the thing that actually triggers the Burgeons in this team. Personally, I just run around Sack Frag, since that's what she can use in basically every team. It's good in when she's carry, it's good when she's a sub dendro applier. It's just like a good overall weapon, so I use it, but a crit stat stick is perfectly fine here. Artifacts, Deepwood Memory is the way to go. In general, so how you want to work with Nahida is you kind of want to get as much elemental mastery as possible, up to 1,000, since her burst gives elemental mastery to the other people on her team who is not the highest. But there are some teams where it's going to be very hard to make her have the highest elemental mastery. Like in this team, I could do it, but it would rely on me having insane substats on my gear and having perfect onset pieces. So personally, I just run her on a generic build that is good in teams where she's the carry and she prefers more crit, and good on teams where she is mainly there for her skill. So crit rate or crit dam on Circuit or EM or Dendro on Goblet, and EM on Sands. Whatever you have better substats on, again, is generally the way to go. Talents, E and Burst are the main thing to level up. I would personally level this E up first. I'm probably going to push it another level, but the Burst is also worth leveling up, as it does change a lot of the attributes of the Thunderdome. Alright, and now we're on to Toma, who is the Burgeon support for the team, the person actually triggering the reaction. So because of that, you want to stack as much elemental mastery on him as humanly possible. However, as I have mentioned, you will run into energy problems. You're probably going to need even upwards of like 200 energy to really maintain his burst, especially if you're not running Favonius weapons on other characters, so that can be a bit of a danger. Weapons, any EM substat spear is good. Personally, the other spear, the Inazuma Craftable, is a little bit better than Dragon's Bane. You could use Favonius in a pinch, but kind of the high base attack, low energy recharge generally means it'd be better to run a high EM substat spear and run in energy recharge sands. So let's get to the artifacts. 4-piece gilded is where you want to be, but if you don't have 4-piece gilded like me, you can't get on set pieces to save your life. A 2-piece Wanderer's Gilded is going to be very close. And a team like this, Gilded is actually quite a bit better since you have one of each element. This actually means that this set will actually give you a bonus 150 on this, which is actually 70 more than the 2-piece. So definitely if you have it, it's better. For substats, you're looking at EM, and then you're probably going to have to run an energy recharge sands in order to keep up enough energy to be able to burst off of cooldown. So, yeah, if you can get away with it, you have really god substats, then you could go EM here, but energy recharge is my recommendation. His skills, honestly, the level on his skills don't really matter, but burst and E here are semi-worth leveling if you're going to use him for something. A quick thing to note about Burgeon teams, specifically for using Toma as your Burgeon collector, is if you're going to use this team quite a bit, I probably recommend investing in a Khitan Cross Spear and leveling it up, as the effect of gaining energy back when using your elemental skill helps a lot with his energy issues, especially at higher refinements. If you're full in on this team, this is definitely a weapon worth refining, as I think at the highest refinement it goes up to something like 18 energy, which is a huge energy saver, as energy for Toma is a issue in this team. Alright, and last up on the team is Diona. She's here as a shielder because Toma's shield isn't going to actually be strong since we're not building for HP, we're building for EM, so he can trigger our dendro cores. There actually are a couple other options you can use here, but especially if you have C6 Diona like I do on my main, then this is definitely worth using, as the 200 EM is a pretty nice boost to the team. For weapons, I'm rocking Favonius just to give Toma more energy. For artifacts, you're kind of whatever you want, Noblesse Oblige. I actually think possibly, if you can trigger it well, something like Instructors would actually be very good value here. I haven't really played with the set a ton. I know I have a set laying around. But yeah, so upon triggering an elemental reaction, increases all party members' elemental mastery by this amount for 8 seconds. So if you can actually manage this and cycle this buff correctly, this is actually a pretty decent buff for your entire team. If not, you could just run around Noblesse like this to give Childe a little bit more damage. For substats, it's kind of up to you, but I generally like HP, and then healing bonus. You can go for a full HP here and just build for the shield, but I personally just check on a healing bonus because it's what I have. For talents, you want to level up her skill and her burst for healing and for shielding. Alright, now up to the sample rotation. There are a lot of little weird things you can do with this team to increase his damage. I'm definitely not a pro at this team. I've only been playing it for a short time. But let's just get in here. So the general idea is you want to make sure you have your Nahida up for the elemental mastery bonus, and then you want to make sure you get your Diona thing down for the shield, get your Toma's shield and burst out. And then you just want to attack a couple times on Childe to trigger the Burgeons. And then after like 5-6 seconds, you just want to swap through your characters and just start rotating. You can do stuff like auto attack on Childe or charge attack on Childe to get another Bloom Seed and then pop it with Toma. You just want to generally be making sure you're rotating through your skills, keeping up your bursts and everything like that. You'd also try to vaporize Childe's elemental burst. That's definitely something that's worth trying to do if you can for bonus damage. But yeah, so generally you're looking for a very short on-field rotation for Childe, like maybe 1 or 2 auto attack cycles. You're really just trying to get some seeds on the ground so that you can blow them up with Toma. And the more you can swap to Toma in a rotation, the less likely the energy issues are going to be present, while you try to maintain your Nahida burst and your Diona burst for maximum EM bonuses. Alright, that's going to be the end of this episode of Team Comp Tuesday. I want to thank you for watching. This is the first Burgeon team we've done, and this is honestly the first Burgeon team I've ever played, so I apologize for kind of the cruddy rotations at points during the video, as really only a couple days or this week has been the only real time I've had to mess with this kind of team. We might revisit Burgeon in the future when maybe better units come out, like Deja, who I am still waiting with bated breath for personally, as I just love her character design. But this team is definitely pretty fun. You can definitely do, if you're willing to invest a lot more into it, you can definitely get some better options for this team in terms of like weapon setup, stuff like a Kaitan cross spear for Toma, stuff like making sure that Toma is the one to get the EM burst from Nahida, so making sure Nahida has over the 1000 EM and Toma has just under the 1000 EM, so that you can share the EM from her burst would be a big bonus as well as trying to maintain an instructor's buff in a rotation on Diona. Could get you significantly higher results in this team. Also, I'm pretty sure Burgeon works like Aggravate, Swirl, etc., where the level of the character triggering the Burgeon does matter, so you might want a level 90 Toma if you're serious about playing this kind of team. But I want to thank you for coming out. I hope you enjoyed, and I wish you luck if you're wishing on either the Childe or the Iemiko banner, or if you're saving for Skara or future characters. Stay strong, my brothers. They will come eventually. And have a good day.